Am I too loud right now where it's at, or am I good?
No, we're fine. Don't
Don't
edit it
what?
with the audio. We're fine.
Okay.
Talk as loud as you want.
Okay.
We should not hopefully peak, but we're fine.
But don't do that stupid thing where you go like, oh. Yeah, that. I hate that.
Oh.
Every time I see it in the timeline, I'm just like, God damn it.
Well, now we have to do it.
No, please don't.
I
don't want
It
this.
didn't even get past the red.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, well, that means it's good.
The arsonist had oddly shaped feet. Okay.
Squirter tooth. Don't you
Do it, squirt.
do it squirt.
All
All
right,
right,
we
anyway.
gotta do the
All
thing.
right.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going, everybody?
Good.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Major Idiots Podcast.
Whoa, confetti.
We did it again.
Hello, I am Sean McConnell, and with me is always Alex DeGennaro, freshly back from Italy.
Oh, yeah.
He survived.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Better than Brad Pitt did it.
Brian Lahosky, as
Hello,
always,
hello.
is here.
It came from my house, not
Came from his house 5 minutes away, not
Yeah.
even. And then Alex Town, who we are lucky to be in his presence,
Thank you. You make my feet wet sometimes.
who just got hired at a new job. We're all excited for him.
Yeah, Walmart finally called me back.
Hot dog stand.
He gets to clean out the bathrooms.
He gets to assign the tariffs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know that crust
So
in the
everybody
toilet that just
send-
won't come off? That's me.
So everybody send your hate
Chisel.
mail to town.
Yeah.
I can't believe you went all the way to Italy and you didn't try to get the podcast blessed by the Pope.
He wasn't taking
Chicago.
he wasn't taking any appointments when I was there, and he didn't reciprocate my deep dish pizza that I brought.
From Little Caesars.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Only the finest for the Pope.
Can the Pope make like executive orders like in Italy? Like all the pizza in Italy is now going to be deep dish from
Chicago.
Little Caesars. Not even from Chicago. It's like Little Caesars.
He can say that for Vatican City,
Okay,
but
I
not
see.
Italy itself.
Like all Italian restaurants here are now Little Caesars.
Can he do stuff like have Chicago deep dish pizza like at churches? I don't know what the
You mean like
I don't know what the Pope does.
like make that when you're taking communion?
Yeah.
The communion discs
Oh my
are now
God, that would
deep-
be great. It's
They're
like
now like the little mini pizza bagels, but they're deep
Yeah.
dish ones. Yeah.
that'd be wow. Yeah, that'd be
Slices
good.
of salami. From
Yeah.
the
See,
body of
I would
Christ.
go back to church if that were the case.
And instead of
I'd find God.
oh God, what's a popular beer in Chicago? I don't know. I can't say like Sam Adams or something, but like instead of it being the blood of Christ,
Or
it's just
Boston.
like it's just like a Chicago beer or something.
Yeah. I don't know if Chicago
the
has
Bears.
any sort of like signature beer. Do they?
They probably do.
Anyone from
They do a
Chicago,
lot of
please let
drinking
us
over
know.
there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And anyway,
How do you transition from that?
we don't. Chicago.
Wait a minute, hold on. Chicago is where they film movies sometimes. Movies have a lot of practical and digital effects. Hey,
We're going to talk about the merits and the differences between practical and digital effects today.
That's right,
on our
baby.
podcast.
Welcome to VFX
what I say, we're
Artists
so
React.
good at transitions.
VFX artists react.
Oh,
They're way better than us.
smooth.
Yeah, 'cause
Sean,
they
this
have
was your
money.
idea for the podcast. Can you tell us why you're passionate about this idea?
I don't know. I mean, practical effects, I've always loved the way they look. And I feel that a lot of digital of the digital works has taken over from practical. And I feel like for a while that there was a time where you didn't really see very many practical effects, where it was just pretty much all digital. And that was like the golden age of digital effects. Now we're seeing kind of more of a resurgence in practical effects. Like the new Alien movie used a lot more practical effects for their creatures, which I felt made it more tangible and it felt real. You know, some practical effects don't necessarily hold up, but so do digital, because digital effects I think ages worse than practical.
Yeah. Look at I think one movie that sparked it pretty hard. The Phantom Menace.
No. Yeah.
Well, okay, I
Pretty
will,
hard.
I will say this about the Star Wars prequels. I guess we're already jumping into Star Wars talk for this.
I'm ready.
The Phantom Menace is the least offensive when it comes to like an overindulgence of CG. There are a lot of like, you know, they do shoot on location a bunch. Like they did shoot in Italy. How do you like that?
Yeah.
And there's a lot more effort into like, you know, introducing practical effects. That was the last film that was the only film in the prequels to have Yoda be a puppet, and then they were like, nah.
He looks terrible though.
Yeah.
He does, yeah, but
It shows that he didn't really have planned that Yoda was gonna be a frog flipping around going.
I think that's why they switched to CG.
A
'cause they-
ketamine frog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And then when
that's-
he's fighting Sidious, he doesn't make those noises at all.
Yeah.
he's restrained himself for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but also while we're on the topic of Star Wars and their digital effects, in recent years they have gone more towards practical effects, and I think it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like The Force Awakens. Do you know about the bread thing?
No,
The rising bread? You've never seen
Oh
that?
yeah, where
Yeah, she has that
Rey's
package.
cooking
I know
it
I've
up.
seen that, but I don't know that was real, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. If
Yeah.
only they put that amount of effort into the story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, regardless of the flaws with the sequels, you can't say that the practical and digital effects in those films are great.
you can't or can.
You can't deny that those. are
Oh,
great.
okay. So I see. I thought you were saying
Yeah.
you can't say they're good. Like, oh, okay.
No, you can
They're
say
great.
they're bad. I don't think anybody would agree with
that,
you.
That is one thing that I do appreciate about J.J. Abrams, because he also did it with the Star Trek movies. He used a lot of practical effects, especially for the creature and alien designs, where it looks more tangible. It fits well into the universe. There are certain things that I don't think fit well into the universe, but that's different.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got Sean to say one good thing about the Star Wars sequels. We did it. We did it, lads.
everybody.
There can be peace
I'll
again.
give you two.
Oh, what's the second one?
I think the actors are good.
Oh, cool. What about the
Okay.
music as well?
Well, it's John Williams. That's a given.
We got three, baby.
No. That doesn't count because that's already automatically looped in because it's John Williams. The GOAT.
Okay.
Come on.
All right. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but what about the older Star Wars movies being injected with digital effects, like Glup Show and Return
will
of the
say-
Jedi, where he's like, "Ah, da, 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 da."
Was that Glup?
No.
No.
Okay, that sucks.
That,
Show isn't
that
really
was
a
Boba
character
Fett
as
or
much as
whatever.
it's an
That's not Boba
embodiment
Fett.
of just
Boba Fett's a
sluggy
little
characters.
Oh, that's right.
we're talking over each other. But that I remember when we saw the re-release of Return of the Jedi for its anniversary. We both just looked at each other in the chairs like, this
Yeah,
is
like-
we hate this so much. We'd rather be dead. Because I will say that is one of the most egregious things that they did in
Yeah.
redoing the Star Wars movies. Is that scene is terrible. And I also hate Darth Vader saying no.
Oh,
That's not
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not a practical or digital effect. That's a comment.
I
just
will
hate
say,
that.
like, I do actually appreciate some of the effects in the special editions. I mean, yeah, I very much would prefer the original to be out and accessible in some regard.
That's surprising.
Yeah, but I did find recently a VHS collection of the original trilogy. It sucks that it's in 4x3, but that's just what VHS is. And it was great to, like, you know, have that, but it's also just like there's a lot of effects in the original, like a lot of the speeder effects for A New Hope are kind of bad, and they fix those up.
Well,
and
no, they did that, right?
yeah,
Years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I meant more so when they're going to Mos Eisley.
Oh, okay.
I mean, obviously, I
Where
really,
it's kind of just bouncing up and down.
yeah, but you know that is what it is.
It's definitely
too.
it's hitting air bumps. It's fine.
I will say, I mean, to kind of give our like overall stance on like effects for this video, I don't hate digital effects at all.
No.
No, that's not
no,
what we're
no.
saying. That's
No.
not what we're saying. We're just saying that we're just talking about the differences, and that in certain cases, practical are better than digital, and
Yeah.
digital are better than practical. But what we're going to talk about like is just instances where one could have been better than the other. And I had something with Star Wars. I do like some of the digital effects, but I also enjoy how they reused footage of practical effects. Like in Empire Strikes Back, I don't remember seeing when I watched it on VHS when I was a kid the Wampa. Like, with his
Yeah, they
arm
added
cut off.
those.
They
Those were
added
added.
that,
Yeah.
and I appreciate the fact they didn't do it digitally. It was already archival footage that they just put in.
Yeah.
And I like that. It makes the creature seem like, again, more real and tangible. Like you can actually touch it. Digital effects, just for some reason, they can look really great, but they don't have that same feel of this is somebody that crafted this, that built this physically. And I think that there's a lot of, I think people don't necessarily think about that. I mean, it does take time to do digital effects and everything, and there are a lot of like crunch time where studios will push them to get things done, and I think that's the reason for why a lot of things don't look well.
Yeah,
especially
well,
with like Marvel as a recent.
That's the biggest thing right
Yeah.
now is that I think I think the reason why a lot of people are so hard on digital effects right now is because the Marvel machine is like, get these movies out right now.
Yeah, look at a
You
lot of
gotta
the
keep going.
earlier Marvel movies.
Yeah, they used
Look at Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are some of digital effects like the skeleton
oh,
in
bro.
the first one.
Spider-Man
That is so
bouncing on
bad.
the balloon animals in the
Oh, yeah.
fair trying to save MJ looks like a video game. It does not look good at all.
Have you
Yeah.
seen that meme of where they make Spider-Man and Green Goblin extra thick? And it's that scene where he's chasing him, and it's just their huge asses.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've seen that.
God.
Yeah.
It's thick with triple C.
Now you want to talk about a good special edition? That's there right there. Make Spider-Man.
Spider-Man thick edition.
Yeah, exactly. I remember they did the 2.1 edition for Spider-Man 2. And
Yeah.
it really didn't do that much.
I do remember them kind of in that early 2000s when they had DVDs come out, like, oh, you're Spider-Man, and then here's another where it's Spider-Man 1.5,
Yeah.
where they add like 5 extra minutes. Of
It's really
something.
not.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to talk great practical effects in a Spider-Man movie? I really missed when I saw No Way Home, like Doctor Arms.
Doc Arms.
Dr. Arms.
I love
Dr. Arms. He's got 2 arms. Oh no.
He only hits Arm Day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's just super jacked. No, I was gonna say Doc Ock's arms in No Way Home were all CG, but like in Spider-Man 2, they were like all like puppeteered.
Yeah.
And they look great.
And that's something that I appreciate with
Mm-hmm.
is how that looks. And because when it's hitting Peter, it looks real.
Yeah.
It looks like he's actually being kind of crushed by it. But when it's in No Way Home, is it No Way Home?
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
When he's upside down and he's got like the which I don't like the whole everything now has nano machines. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Nano machine,
'Cause
son.
it's just dumb.
It's just a way of getting them in masks like faster.
Yeah.
But when he's like upside down, and everything you can tell it's digital. It's not like he's like on a wire with the suit on the VFX suit, and it looks good. But I would prefer them to be in realistic suits, like the original Iron Man movies.
Yeah, I was
a
gonna
lot
say
of that was
earlier.
practical.
Stan
and then they
Winston.
Just,
Yeah.
and they just did digital overlays and things to make the stuff not look clunky.
And like
Yeah.
add lights and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good mixture.
Yeah, see that is something that I think is has more merit, and I think they're starting to go back to that because they I don't know if you've seen the I think it's Ironheart trailer. She has a suit where it's like an actual suit. It's not the nano machines.
Oh, really?
And it's going back to a mixture of it looked like a mixture of practical and digital, which I think they work well together. The two are a happy marriage, and it works really well.
I'm just scared for the next Avengers movie. That is going to be like
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna work out because they haven't done anything to like build up to it.
well,
Thunderbolts.
that's a different story altogether. There,
They did
but-
Thunderbolts, which
That's
is
that's
but
not
the
enough.
Thunderbolts, spoilers. At the end, they're the new Avengers, and it's a really good movie from what I understand. It's
okay.
It tackles issues of like depression and mental health through the
I
guys.
felt more
of
depressed
Marvel.
watching that movie. I mean,
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. And I was like, man, the effects. Well, no, that's not it. No, actually, you know what? I will say they have a practical stunt at the beginning of that film where they jump off like a big
Yeah,
tower.
Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
does that, yeah, that's really cool.
That's all I can really say about that movie. It's fine.
Yeah, but I've been talking a lot. What do you guys? Thoughts and feelings?
Marvel. I don't. I haven't watched a lot of the modern Marvel. I mean, I think the last one I saw was Deadpool. That one was pretty good. I don't remember that there were any truly bad effects in that one.
Yeah. Well,
Off
you
the
had
top
a
of my
list,
head.
right? You had
Well,
a list of like bad effects or good effects.
I just had a little overview. Like I had Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I think those hold up a lot better than a lot of the modern Marvel movies,
Yeah.
except for the skeleton. That's where they
The-
get
of the-
disintegrated.
from the
that one
pumpkin
is
bomb?
laughably bad.
It's charming though. It's like Sam Raimi cheesiness, you know.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Now, okay, there's a big question that I do want to ask here because we are just talking about like practical versus digital effects, and we're like, oh, what's better than this? What's better? I mean, how should we like go about? I mean, well, I want to ask like, how do you guys think like? Do you feel like there's a certain point that it's appropriate for films to have practical and digital effects to like make it like to make something more obviously in the case of practical make it look more real, or in the
Yeah.
case of like digital effects just for convenience or like stuff like that. I don't know.
guess it's on a case by case basis.
I guess,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
how
kinda-
much each one costs. That's kind of
Yeah,
probably how the studios think about it. Like, all right,
Yeah.
yeah.
would it be cheaper to have 8 CGI artists work on this, or
Mm-hmm.
have someone buy tons of material and make something that's
Yeah.
real?
Because that's
No,
the thing.
there-
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Well, like if we're talking about certain instances, like with the outside, like Pacific Rim, you can't have them make a 300-foot tall.
Not with that attitude.
But you
in
can
real
make-
life,
you can
that
try,
moves
damn it.
and does the things that it does.
But you
if
can make
Guillermo
a
del
50-foot
Toro-
fist
You can make a 50-foot
and
fist and
shove
they
it
do.
through an
They
office
do.
space.
They-
Yeah.
well, they don't have that happen, but they do have like he's at one point he's standing on what's like a damaged one, a damaged component. Idris Elba's character when he makes that speech, and they have that one is another example of them using both because they have practical sets. They didn't just use all CGI and like giant blue screens.
Right.
They have practical sets for each Jaeger in the movie, where they're inside of like the pilot's parts, and I think that looks really well. So I think that's an example of where they can use both when it's appropriate.
And then they screwed it up in the sequel. by
Let's
making
not
it
talk about that one.
all CG.
Are the oh, it's all CG for that movie.
It's not good.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We talked about it on an earlier podcast at a different time, but basically they changed the camera angles a lot because before it was way more grounded and more realistic. But in the second one, it is like fast whipping camera angles
Yeah.
at like the POV same height of the mechs, and it's like, where's this camera coming from?
Yeah.
Where is this imaginary camera? It's like,
yeah, the other one felt you could feel the weight of the machines and the monsters behind
Yeah,
them.
that
This one just
too.
feels like why are they moving this fast? They would not be able to do that. I feel like in practically like something moving that large that fast, it would tear itself up to pieces.
yeah.
Actually, I have one movie
Okay.
that I know has very bad practical and digital effects that we all know and love.
Oh boy.
The Gods of Egypt.
Oh yeah.
Does it have practical effects?
I did.
I don't think so.
No, it doesn't.
Besides having actor, like that.
and sets probably. Well, yeah, probably a few
Yeah.
sets.
No, I guarantee it's all blue screen.
It's
Oh,
probably
okay.
all blue
Alright.
screen.
Yeah, I feel like one thing a lot of studios get wrong is like the lighting.
Yeah.
Because like even like let's say Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah.
there are some like on Mustafar, I can tell I'm like, oh yeah, they're just from the lighting they have, like I can tell this is CG'd.
Actually-
Same with Avengers Endgame. I don't remember what planet they're fighting Thanos trying to like take his glove off.
Oh, that was.
that was
was on-
Infinity War.
Oh, that was Infinity War.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was Infinity
Shows
War.
how much of a Marvel fan I am. But I just remember watching that. I'm like, it's mostly because of the lighting, because they just stand out too much from the background.
Yeah, and yeah, I think that was kind of where, at least with Marvel, it was starting to go. They're relying on CG too much, and
Yeah.
it's starting to kind of show.
It's just because they got to release a movie every week.
That's
Well,
the
they don't have
bad
time.
mindset. They can't.
They don't have time.
Yeah,
They should have made a statement after Endgame. It's like we're gonna take time with our movies now. That like now that the major plot point is done, we're gonna go
And
to
then
the
they were
next
just
one.
like, "Hey,
but
here's
we're gonna-
Spider-Man again."
Spider-Man.
but they really didn't do that.
Here's the Marvels.
Oh.
You love the Marvels.
Oh, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna introduce the next big bad in an Ant-Man movie.
Here's,
Never mind.
Here's King the Conqueror. Oh,
Oh,
never mind.
no.
no!
We're just gonna wipe that character out in a side series
Yeah,
of
it's-
What If.
Don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about
I
it.
don't even
Might
know
bring him back, but somebody else will play him.
who's Kang.
Don't
The
worry
Conqueror.
about it.
What does he conquer?
The universe.
I don't know. I'm really out of the loop. I watched Spider-Man and Deadpool. That's about it. That's about it.
We could talk about what they did on the Mandalorian, where they have the thing called the volume,
Yes.
which
Is
is
that the screen?
that's the
Yeah.
big screen.
Okay.
Which looks good. It looks really.
It looks really
good.
good,
Oh, yeah.
but for some reason, everyone hates it.
Well, okay, there is a reason for that,
Why?
and I think it mainly just comes down to you have to get a lot of the CG and environments done beforehand, so it really
Yeah.
kind of fucks with the scheduling. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I think Tony Gilroy mentioned that when he was talking about why Andor shoots largely on location, was
Yeah.
because
It's easier.
Yeah, well, that and like, I mean, obviously for like a show like Andor, where like you want to have these big vistas and it make that feel more real because the show is trying to be like a realistic depiction of like war and
It looks
how,
so good.
and yeah, and how the Empire like affects like people and stuff like that. You would want it to look more serious and more grounded as opposed to like if you were shooting on the volume. Yeah, because the volume you kind of have to do like filmmaking in reverse. You have to have the effects done.
Yeah.
To shoot, and then you also have to do the other like in between effects, like obviously like they shooting or they're using lightsabers.
And from what I read, the Kenobi series relied heavily on the volume, and that was one of the things that kind of took a lot of people out of it was the way it looked, because it did kind of look a little weird at times.
A little bit, yeah. I will say though, one thing, I guess this is just going to turn into Star Wars effects the whole video, but no, I will say one thing that I really do like about modern Star Wars films is that there's more dynamic lighting when it comes to like lightsabers. Because in the original trilogy, yeah, we were talking about lighting. The lighting doesn't really like bounce off of the characters when it comes to the lightsabers. It's mostly just there, and it's like in the general area.
Are you specifically talking about the Kenobi scene where Obi-Wan and Darth Vader are fighting?
No, well,
That's so good, though. I love that scene.
Do you actually?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
'Cause there's a subtle thing that happens where it's Darth Vader and he's got the blue light on him, and then when he says a line, it changes to red.
Oh,
they did not.
We're
do
not
that
talking
on
about
purpose.
Kenobi. We're talking about
The original one.
A New Hope.
Oh, okay. Never
I was
mind.
gonna say you like when they were whacking each other with sticks.
Oh,
and that?
well, that looks like an old man trying to fight an
But it is an old man trying to fight an amnesiac.
amnesiac.
Is that a word for people?
Asthmatic.
Asthmatic.
Amnesia means you don't have your memory.
Oh,
Well, he doesn't really remember R2D2.
No,
Oh, well.
yeah, I wish
Yeah,
I
that's
could lose.
true.
I wish I could lose my memory of Revenge.
In
of
his
the Sith.
anger, he forgot his little buddy.
And then he shot him in his plane. No, I was gonna say though, that's what I like about like the newer movies. They have practical lightsabers and they have the lights deflecting off of people.
Yeah, that I like the way that looks.
Although that does come at the cost of some of the choreography of some of the new recent Star Wars films.
Yes, I'm looking at you, Last Jedi.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
you suck.
Okay.
Come
Well,
on.
I tr-
Compare.
You know, I'm actually.
tried.
let's
you know?
compare.
I'm pretty proud of us actually because we haven't sworn in like.
That's true. We haven't.
We haven't
We're
swore
having,
at all.
It's because we haven't seen each other in a little while. I think we're just kind of like
Yeah.
The next podcast we're gonna be like, "Fuck you."
we're gonna
suck again.
we're gonna become super edge lords.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're going to
just
say
wait.
words you've never heard before on
Yeah.
TV.
We've never even heard of before.
Microb.
Microbo.
Alex learned a lot of words while in Italy.
We did just see.
Gabagoo.
We did just see Revenge of the Sith, the 20th anniversary.
Oh.
You got to admit, the end fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan is so much leagues better than anything in the sequel series. The choreography of that was so
Well,
fantastic.
good how?
I
Well,
just
how do
said
you-
the choreography.
just- okay,
the way that,
choreography.
the way they move is actually because they're using actual like developed techniques of lightsaber combat, and the other ones they're not. They're just kind of like it just feels like they're swinging around baseball bats.
Yeah, it no doubt it takes a lot of talent to nail that down and get it right, but also it is very very long.
Yeah, that's my problem with the Revenge of the Sith.
It almost
It
feels
goes
like
on,
not much
for an
is actually
eternity.
happening.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. I love it.
It's just when they get to swinging on ropes, I'm just like, I'm fucking done. Just wrap this shit up. Just put me under. Put me in the Darth Vader
But it's
suit.
a swashbuckler
Yeah,
going
he would-
on.
He would love that. He loves that.
It's
Over
better than
lava?
it's still better than the Last Jedi fight with those stupid red soldiers spinning around
yeah.
them.
At least that scene is short.
Or him,
Not
just
really.
like, oh, let me put the what was it? Rise of Skywalker when he has the lightsaber behind him and the dude hits it and he goes, like, you're not gonna.
Oh, yeah, I
why
don't
would you- that was stupid.
That was weird. Yeah. I will say though that when they were fighting on the Death Star ruins and there was like all this rain and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, that's kind of interesting. But their choreography there was kind of boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But again, we're talking about
talking about Star Wars.
Let's move away from Star Wars, okay? For the love of God.
Okay.
So-
Pirates of the Caribbean.
okay.
Okay, fine,
We'll
fuck
go
it.
with that.
Do
All
this
right.
again.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, we did
they
talk
use
about
a lot of practical ship sets, but most of the time with the wide view and other wills, they're all CGI.
Yeah, we did talk about in our video recently, plug, about the Davy Jones effects
Yes.
and how those look good. And I still remember the point that I made where it was like, yeah, if they made another Pirates of the Caribbean film with Davy Jones in it, and it didn't look as good as he did in 2006, then there would be panic in the streets. People shanking each other. It would be
Yes,
a
I
nightmare.
would be a part of that group.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
killing
would.
another.
And I think that also comes like the reason that comes from the crunch time stuff of them pushing them to get it done faster and faster. They take shortcuts because they have no other alternative, and it doesn't look as
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's like it's integrating a lot of these shots into
Yeah.
like the, you know what I mean? Because you were talking about lighting, and obviously, I feel like we should mention at this point that we're not professionals in this
No.
field of.
Yeah,
digital
We're not
effects.
like for
digital
this
effects
podcast,
artists.
I just put 2 lights on 2 sticks.
We're recording on
Then-
potatoes right now.
Yeah, we're talking about effects. We look terrible.
No, I will say though, at least from like from our own experience with like using digital effect, we've only used like it. The major thing I can think of is the one effect that we did for Man in the Box, Alex.
Yeah,
Explosion.
The
I
mime
did the explosion.
Yeah, where the mime like is. I guess I'll kind of put a thing on screen. Fuck, I have to edit. Why did I bring this up?
You put a little Godzilla next to you, so you're kind of
it's back! Oh my god!
Oh, hey.
you are kind of a digital effects artist.
Wow, look at that! Oh man, I really know how to use that YouTube MP4.
But can you get the Godzilla where he's wearing the J's?
I can't. That's out of my budget. I gotta get this video out.
You ever seen Davy Jones with the J?
videos are like-
He's got one J on.
like one J on.
These podcasts are like Marvel movies. All right, we got to get them out the door yesterday.
But you can have Godzilla and Mothra kissing AI art, right?
Oh,
Oh no, let's stay away from that.
not
We'll
AI.
talk about AI another time.
Oh, not unless it's AI Darth Vader, because this guy over here loves talking to him.
Because he's fun to fucking talk to.
We got him to say
Yeah.
Nene baby.
Say Sabrina
He
Carpenter.
said badassery.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think that's one of the few times where you're not really taking a job away from anybody.
No.
So
Yeah,
like it's
right.
I think it's okay. I know some people were upset about it. It's like, well, how would you hire somebody for that?
Yeah.
So when they
to
did
do
the, I remember they had like impersonators for like some of the Force Unleashed games, and it was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's no Darth Vader without James Earl Jones.
Yeah,
so.
but the character is reactive to you.
Sure.
So like you could have a million
Yeah.
presets, but it's like trying to accurately respond to you.
And it is using James Earl Jones's voice because he did sell it to use for AI.
Right,
stuff.
And his family has given
They got him
a
to say
bunch of
Sabrina
permissions
Carpenter
and-
in a
yeah.
booth before he passed away. That's how they got him to say that. No. Anyway, the point I was originally trying to make here was that that was like, how long did that take you to make? Do you remember that mime exploding?
I'm trying to remember the process. I'd say about a month
Okay.
to really like do like I was also in school, so it wasn't
Yeah.
like my main thing. I just did it over the weekends and stuff.
Yeah, and that was like only in the film for like a solid 2 seconds.
Yes.
So it was like all that work for something that like was very
also-
instantaneous.
Yeah, but I also didn't do all of it. A different guy came in and added other effects on top of it to make it look a little
Or I
bit
think
better.
he color corrected it slightly to add it into that scene.
Yeah, no, because I had no idea how to do the lighting or anything. I think I did put like a backlit lit lighting on it at least, and I put it in a green screen box so he could easily just comp it in. But after that, he did the rest of it.
Okay.
But yes, I did the initial exploding and blood effect.
That's where I think like, digital effects like that are like you can kind of get away because I whenever I pause that film at that point and you see like the little 3D man
Yeah.
like crouching down and he looks like he came from an N64 game. I'm
Yeah,
like it kind of works though because that moment goes by so quick and you get the initial image, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing though is also I feel like a lot of people kind of say like, oh, a lot CG has always sucked because now we have like ways of pausing the movie and like seeing this stuff that's meant to go by really quickly.
Yeah.
So, that's also another indicator of like, people hating on CG just because
Yeah.
it exists.
But I mean, it hasn't always sucked. I mean,
No.
Look at Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
The original one, that still to me holds up and looks incredible. But they also again blended it with practical effects. Like they had a full scale T-Rex built, but it still looks great and it was incredible and groundbreaking for the time because originally they were talking about doing like stop motion
Yeah.
and
Probably wouldn't have worked as well.
it would not have looked good.
That'd work, yeah.
But and for a lot of stuff they use stop motion. Like if you look at RoboCop, the original one, they use stop motion for how they move Ed 209. And it doesn't look that great.
No.
You can tell when they switch to like the fake puppets, because there's a scene at the end where the bad guy is falling to his death, and he has extremely long arms for some reason.
Yeah.
And it looks terrible.
Oh, sure.
Which is a case of a bad practical effect. But I think that holds up. I think the movie The Abyss, the digital effects in that look really good still, and were also groundbreaking for the time. They use that the effect for that to then roll that into Terminator 2 for making the T-1000.
Oh, yeah.
And how they do that one, which again looks incredible even today, even though they have like newer versions of it that look great and are an improvement. That still holds up because the T-1000 being liquid polymetal alloy or whatever the hell it's made out of still looks terrifying. It looks like this is something alien or futuristic, and it has the presence of being something that could be anything in the movie because it can shape itself into anything.
Do you want to see another good transition? Speaking of Alien, because you just mentioned Alien, see how good I am with this. Oh my
Alien
god,
Queen.
Yeah.
You're gonna start talking about Star Wars again.
Exactly. No, I was gonna say one of the like biggest like oh my god why did you do this like moments in like practical effects like ever is in Alien 3 with the rod puppet of the of the running
And they use the
alien.
stop motion.
It's not stop motion. It's all rods. Like they have it in front of like a blue screen, and they
Okay.
kind of have it like move around, and they try to integrate. So it's like a kind of a that's a
Well, I
good
just remember it
combination.
not looking great.
Well, that's why,
Wow.
because that movie, like the effects were kind of rushed
Yeah.
at the end, so there wasn't like a good chance for it to be like. It looks out of place because there's sort of like some of the crappiness, like outlines of like some of the early blue screen, green screen
Even in
kind
the
of stuff.
assembly cut, it doesn't look that good.
I will say actually I do want to give a shout out. They have infinitely more followers than we do anyway. But there was recently a fan made legacy cut of
Oh,
Alien.
that's the one
3.
I sent you, right?
I think yeah, you sent me
Yeah.
the video for it. I did watch that like
Okay.
just to see what the effects look like. They did so much color correction and like fixes like to make it like work into the scene. It is insanely better now.
Yeah.
Like the alien like running through the halls and also like going up to like Ripley and stuff like that. Like I think that's probably like the best like visual way. I still don't I disagree with their decision to have the alien come out at the end, but
Well, it does in the theatrical cut, doesn't it?
yeah, but I prefer the assembly
Yeah,
cut version of that scene. But and that scene also where she's falling into the lava, because that was a very last minute like effect right there of like, oh, I'm gonna fall into this blue screen behind me. So yeah, I mean there are a lot of instances where I mean in on the subject of like stop motion,
Yeah.
do you feel like a lot of instances of stop motion have held up? I mean, you were just talking about for RoboCop.
Not necessarily. No. I mean,
I like-
they have new ways of like fixing that. I think they just up the. I don't know if it was the like FPS or
Probably, yeah. 'Cause
and
you
it
gotta
looks
shoot it
like
24.
it's a lot more smoothed out. That in that case, like that's I'm fine with them doing that stuff and like making it look better. But I think a lot of stop motion doesn't look that good. But I think that's kind of the charm of it, is that it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell that it's not real, and I kind of like that. I kind of like the way it looks. Like in RoboCop, for instance, I like that it's stop motion and that they use a fake RoboCop to be in scale with the larger Ed 209 that's supposed to be, that's a model. I like that. I think that's it's I don't know, something like I don't know, kind of comforting about it in a way. It's weird, but I like it.
I do like it sometimes. And oh god, I'm going to talk about Star Wars again. Fuck me.
Oh no.
There are some instances of stop motion in Star Wars that looks like. I mean, that definitely.
Tauntauns?
The Tauntaun, yeah, that's like the biggest example of
love the
stop
Tauntauns.
motion.
Yeah.
I think in Return of the Jedi, the AT-ST, I think that
That was stop motion.
yeah, you can
Okay.
tell when the trips over the logs.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Like when they're when the Ewoks are taking them
The
out.
stop motion chess scene, which by the way, okay, I don't mean to take from the Alexes it feels like mostly Sean and I here, but I'm sorry. We
Well, I
got
was
a lot
gonna mention Wallace and Gromit for stop.
Yeah.
Oh
motion
yeah, well yeah, we can
claymation.
definitely talk
Yeah.
about stop motion films next, but like there was a I forget the name of this guy, but I saw this on TikTok recently, was that there was this guy who is like a prolific stop motion animator who worked on Star Wars and all these other films, and in his spare time he's made like this very dark and like kind of like
Is it Phil Tippett?
I think it is. Yeah. I'm thinking of the film Mad God.
Yeah.
He made over the course of like 30 years in his
Yeah.
garage while he was working on other films.
Check that.
I gotta check that film out. It's like all stop motion and it is insanely like hellish and like bizarre. So I gotta check that out. But anyway, yeah, we were talking about stop motion films. I feel like stop motion. I feel like is definitely still alive in some way.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
through-
It is Phil Tippett.
It is Phil Tippett. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, stop motion definitely holds up. Definitely better when the whole film is stop motion, as
Yeah.
opposed to like instances in other films
Like
where
Chicken Run.
yeah, like Chicken Run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wallace
I
and
don't
Gromit.
know if you guys have seen the newest Wallace and Gromit,
I have not.
but it looks fucking amazing with an extra fucking in there. It's pretty-
Is it stop motion?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all claymation.
Don't make me laugh, boy. This isn't flushed away.
Oh yeah, Flushed Away was all CG, right?
Yep, that was their experiment in the CG, and yes, it did have the familiarities, but it just wasn't what they were looking for.
Well, let me. You saw that movie, right?
Yeah.
Does it look like? Do they try to stylize it to make it look stop motion?
A tiny bit,
Okay,
but it doesn't have the same like clay look to it.
I gotcha.
Like everything is very smooth.
Where you can see fingerprints every now and again.
Yeah, and you can't see.
I love that shit though. I love like seeing. I mean, I guess it's not like intentional to these movies, but I love like some of the crappiness of practical effects sometimes when I see
Yeah.
like, oh, they made a movie.
Yeah, I mean, like I love. It's one of the reasons like I love B movies for that reason, like the practical effects of that, or I know you love The Thing.
Oh my god, dude!
Some of the
I was
practical
waiting to
effects in
talk
that-
about this.
Some of the practical effects in that look a little kitschy, but
I don't know.
I
About
like
that.
it.
I don't know about that.
I like it.
but
It's
okay.
good.
That's fair.
That and when they like and again to go back to Star Wars, in the original Star Wars
Damn it.
movies, like the ships and everything were all kit bashed and made from different model kits and things that they put together. You can see in certain things like, oh, I can recognize that part, or in the Phantom Menace, his communicator is a lady's like Bic razor.
Yeah.
Which is
I didn't know that
hilarious.
at all. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pink razor blade.
Okay.
Or a thing that they just spray painted and put some extra bits and bobs on.
Shout out to the guy in Empire Strikes Back who's running in Cloud City, who's just holding an ice cream maker.
Yeah.
He has his own action figure.
I know.
which is great.
I love it.
And they've made that a practical thing now. It's a cantonum, like a container.
Oh, they explained
It's an
it.
ice cream maker.
Well,
Well, yeah,
space ice cream,
space ice cream.
like the dry ice cream
Yeah.
that the astronauts eat.
With
It's-
blue milk.
Yeah. You know they try to sell blue milk at one point, like as
They
like
do.
an
I think,
official
yeah.
drink.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
They also
still
sold
are.
creeper milk.
What milk?
Creeper.
It's a tie-in for the Minecraft movie.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
man.
All those
Is it
creeper
from,
fluids.
I think they're the people that did it. Yeah, they're a company that makes milk.
Who? We're gonna need to bleep that, so don't forget to.
wait. What do you mean?
I don't want their brand in our podcast. Yeah,
Why not?
I don't.
Did they
want
do
it.
something to you?
What?
They
what's the
stole
prob-
my cow.
What's
I don't
the-
want that
What's
in
the
there.
problem with?
I'm lactose intolerant. I mean, we both are, but we gotta set our differences aside against these milk companies because it's not their fault.
Hey, I just don't want to get involved.
You don't like
When the
dairy?
ads.
when the milk
Do you think
politics,
they-
what are you talking
yeah,
about?
do you think like the milk like industry is like the mob? Like they're gonna
He's got
come
a
for
milk
you?
conspiracy. He knows too much about milk.
We're gonna put
Come
you in the
after
milk
me,
vat.
man. They're gonna come after me.
What did you do in Italy that involves milk?
Yeah,
You don't want to know.
I stole the cows.
You stole the Pope's milk delivery.
Loves milk.
You sick
Oh,
fuck.
God.
You've doomed us.
You took the papacy's dairy from them.
No.
I
They
will
did
say,
have an elephant, but
Like an actual elephant?
yeah, but it died like 300 years ago. But they had an
Oh, okay.
elephant at
I thought
one
you meant
point.
like now.
No,
Like,
there was a
you're gonna
pope
open
that
You're
had.
gonna open that closet door. And there's like an elephant truck popping out.
No, I did go to the museum, and one of the popes had a cowboy hat and a cane, and I joke, it's like, oh, that's our first cowboy pope, and this pimp cane.
yeah,
Yeehaw.
He had all these
he
like
wasn't
pic-
from Chicago. He was from Texas.
he had all these paintings about with him with like people with like meeting up, and I just immediately was like, yeah, this guy did nothing. He did nothing to help anyone. He just
partied.
sat around,
He just partied all the time.
partied with his pimp cane.
The party pope. What if they're like Barbie dolls?
Okay, we're getting off topic here. We were talking about The Thing. The
Yeah.
Thing. That's a great
Enough
film.
of the milk mafia. Okay.
The Thing is probably one of my favorite movies. It's also because of its practical effects. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you said some of them look a little dodgy.
Some of them, but I think they're fine. I think that's part of the charm of the movie.
Yeah, but also it's like is a very isolating like experience in the middle of the Arctic, and having that like level of like realism when it comes to like its effects very much helps enhance the mood for that film. And also it gets very creative with like the creature effects when it comes to like the legs coming out of the top of the head,
Yeah.
which has become iconic.
Yeah.
The big spiral of like flesh and all that shit.
Attaching to the ceiling, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you look at in comparison to the prequel to the thing that came out in like 2009, and it's just like, what the fuck happened? Apparently, that was all they got a bunch of practical effects for that, and then they just CG'd over all of it because they were like, it doesn't look real enough. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, but then when those two people come together and like get stuck together, that doesn't look real at all. It looks
Was that in
terrible.
the prequel to the thing?
Yeah.
I don't remember any that movie.
Well, don't you remember when they go to the base, they find the two people that are stuck together in the original in the thing?
Oh, in the original? Yeah. Okay.
That's that. They show how
oh,
that happened.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good.
I forgot about the prequel. That film sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had another thought of in Spider-Man 3 there actually is one really good CG effect. The making of Sandman.
Oh, that's a good one.
That
Yeah.
at the time, even now looking at that is a spectacle.
Oh, yeah.
But then you go and see like when he turns into mud, and it's like that's
That does
such
not
a
look
stark
great.
contrast in
Yeah.
quality.
You can tell though they spent a lot more effort on the
Yeah,
on
'cause
the
that's-
Sandman
well, he was
transformation.
That's like a
water, wasn't he?
trailer moment.
when he
Right
turned
there.
into the mud.
Huh?
He was in water when he turned into the
Well,
mud.
yeah.
Yeah, it
I think it was hard for digital artists to do stuff with water.
Well, it
at that
still
time.
is.
yeah.
But, yeah.
Also, it was going to be an originally like different scene. It was
was
like they originally were going to have a scene where like Sandman is watching his daughter at a playground and he turns into a sandcastle. And they actually built like a whole ass sandcastle over like the course of several months. And I guess that they cut it for pacing reasons, and then they just threw in that shitty effect of him like turning into mud. And they spent all that time on that damn sandcastle. The guy who made it was like, "What the fuck? It's not even in the movie."
Well, he had fun. He got to build a sandcastle
Yeah.
for months.
It'd be like if you dug a hole in somebody's backyard over the course of 2 weekends and you only put it in the film like for 5 seconds.
Yeah, who would do that?
Yeah. Who would do that?
I don't know.
It's fucking idiotic.
I had fun though.
Moron.
You destroyed somebody's property for nothing.
Hey, I had fun.
I had fun.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But yeah.
Fuck,
Dig
I had
another
an
one.
example. Now it's gone. It disappeared.
We were talking about Spider-Man.
Could just go back to Star Wars. That seems to be our safety net here.
No.
Well, I mean, it's a good example because he pioneered a lot of
He did.
practical and digital
Yeah.
effects.
Oh, sure.
Well, ILM.
How about the Matrix? The first one.
That's good.
I
That's a good
think.
one.
I mean, some of it holds up today. I think it's more charming, if anything.
Yeah. The second one doesn't.
Well, I will
Yeah.
say, in the context of those movies, I feel like it kind of works because, again, the Matrix is supposed to be like a digital world, so
Yeah.
it makes sense in context of that the effects, like, kind of. I mean, I don't want to justify some of the lame or.
Did you see the second
effects.
one?
I did see the second one.
Did
Yeah.
you see the effects of when he's fighting? with
Oh
the pole?
yeah,
It looks not good. It
okay.
didn't look good then.
I will give you that. That does not look great.
Yeah.
But I will say, in regards to like certain things, I was going to mention earlier Tron, like how like
the original Tron.
yeah, and Tron Legacy too. Obviously those are
Not the face.
what face? Oh no,
Not
no,
the face.
no.
Not
Okay,
the
again,
face.
I'm gonna throw
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
some bones here.
No.
But the Tron movies, like again, the fact that they were set in a digital world kind of helps some of the effects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are ways to mask like some of the lesser ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and you know what? I will give this because we were talking about Terminator Salvation in that Couple of Idiots episode. I think that film kind of holds up in terms of like practical effects.
I will agree. That does.
Yeah.
I like that movie, and I like the way that everything looks. I think it's good. But if we're gonna talk about like kind of deep faking thing, because you brought up the face, The Irishman,
Oh, yeah.
Robert
They
De Niro
really.
does not look good in that.
No. You can obviously tell he's just a fragile old man because they had to put a shoulder. They had to put
shoulders,
on.
and they gave him lifts in his shoes.
Yeah.
But I've seen people like an actual like visual effects artist take that and make it look like he did like in Casino. And just like I just did this for fun. Where the hell are these people?
Yeah.
Give them the money to do
Why?
this.
Because
Well, they
a
are-
bunch of these crotchety old people are just not retiring and wanting to let in the new
They
generation.
still have that star power they don't want to let go of.
They are like kind of getting a little bit better with. I mean, I hate the concept of like deepfaking actors and shit like that, but like there were some people that did like. Damn it, I'm gonna talk about Star Wars again. Fucking.
The Mr. Star Wars hater, and he's
No,
talking about Star
yeah.
Wars.
No, I mean, do you remember Rogue One with like fucking
Princess
Tarkin?
Leia.
Yeah, and Tarkin. Oh my god, those looked awful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think they what was it with the Mandalorian with Luke? Didn't
Yeah.
they hire someone?
They
off
hired,
of
yeah, they
YouTube?
got somebody who like fixed him, and I think they have him, but I don't
was
think
good.
they've had
Yeah.
many instances.
Yeah, they got him.
since.
I think he looked pretty good. I know Mark Hamill recently said he wants Sebastian Stan to take over as Luke Skywalker.
Sebastian Stan might be a little too old now. I feel.
No, he'd look good.
I think
for
he'd
that,
be fine.
for that.
No,
era,
for a
he'd be
good
fine.
like older Luke, I think he would fit.
He'd be fine. I think he looks like Luke, and like the
Okay.
two of them.
If they want to do like an in between
Yeah.
kind of thing, which they should,
Yeah.
it could work.
maybe like
Somebody-
10 years after Return
Somebody
of the
said
Jedi.
that he
Yeah.
looks like a pre-car accident Mark Hamill. 'Cause, you know, I'm not trying to say that in a mean
That's
way.
so-
That is a comment that I saw.
Jesus,
that is
Lord,
not,
Mary and Joseph.
that is a comment that I saw. That I'm just repeating that because Mark Hamill unfortunately had to have some cosmetic surgery after a car accident,
Yeah.
so it did change the way his face looks. Before that, he did look a little bit different, and Sebastian Stan looks a little bit more like that.
Yeah.
I love you, Mark Hamill. Please don't hate me. But
oh god,
what
what a thing!
well,
what a thing
um,
to
You're
say.
saying you look like you just crawled out of a car accident
no.
every day.
God, no!
Yeah, I think-
Stop doing this to me.
I think I have a good example of deep faking.
Yeah,
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I was gonna talk.
I
about
think
that.
that one did it very well.
He looked great. I was
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, you almost didn't even know the difference.
There
No,
is
actually,
one
they're really not.
thing with that though, is that his voice, I felt, didn't really match too much
Well, 'cause he's older?
He sounded older. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a reason why The Irishman didn't work out. I mean, you can probably excuse some of the effects if they sound a little less like older.
I don't know. I don't think I can excuse him shuffling like an old man kind of effects. And,
Okay, well,
trying
yeah.
have you seen the scene? And that you've seen The Irishman, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
You
there's a-
haven't seen
there's-
it? Okay.
Good. There's a scene where he's beating up somebody, and it just looks like an old man kicking someone.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
like
pretty funny.
That's the
it's
thing
not
is, like,
good.
that's the thing is, I feel like, yeah, in that instance, if you want to do it, you have to cut and shoot around them.
Just put a stunt man there and with like just duct tape
They have paper
a
plate with his
magazine
family.
cutout of
Yeah.
his face.
We have definitely come a long way in terms of like deep faking and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's definitely questionable in terms of like ethics. Looking at Alien Romulus and how they did.
They got permission from his family to do it.
The big thing is
I don't- I
permission.
didn't hear
If
him
the
to give
family
permission.
says okay, then yes,
It looks passable. I think the Indiana Jones one is much better
much better. But the
But-
problem is they rushed it
Yeah.
again as well.
because I think they used a practical animatronic
Yeah.
and then they just digitally changed the face, which it at times it doesn't look that it doesn't match up when he's talking, but I think it's good. It's passable for what it has because it makes sense that Android would be kind of a product line.
Ian Holm in that movie looks like not pre or post accident Mark Hamill,
my
but
God.
accident Mark Hamill.
You need to go. Well, yeah, he's covered in acid. What do you expect?
I mean,
You need to watch that though. Alien Romulus is good. And it does. If you're not watching it for the plot, watch it for the practical effects that
I
they
guess
use.
I have to if we're gonna do an
It's
alien video
so
on it.
good. We are going to do an
You don't
alien
have
video.
to whine, Brian.
You don't have to.
You want some
bitch
cheese with
about
that
it.
wine? Please.
Oh, sorry. Do you need your quart of blue cheese so you
quart
can?
Oh my god!
We got you
Enjoy
a
it.
gallon of blue cheese.
Would you ever combine beer cheese and blue cheese?
No, that sounds awful. What the fuck are you talking about? Even I have standards.
They're
Hold
awful
on.
by
Hold on.
themselves, but together they might be more awful,
I don't know. I can
but
see
better for you.
I can see you taking a wedge of blue cheese and dipping it into beer cheese and tasting and be like, "This is delectable," and everyone around you just is like, "This is the grossest thing I've ever
Fuck,
seen."
I want to try it now.
Oh, fuck.
I kind of wanna.
You're gonna
We'll
vomit.
see.
The vomit comment. Here it comes.
What have I started?
If we're talking about aliens, Alien Resurrection had some good practical effects, but I haven't watched it for a little while. But the aliens when they're swimming, that was all digital. I don't know how well that holds up now. I think
Well,
it's kinda
again, you
weird.
can also kind of mask that with some of the darker lighting and like just the water effects, kind of.
Yeah, that's true.
There are ways. I think there are, I mean, I know a lot of people are complaining about, to go back to Marvel, like complaining about like effects. There are ways to hide that, There are ways to like integrate lesser effects into movies, but the problem is that some of the bigger action sequences are, you know, like CG like focused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think with the Marvel, like the two recent ones that I can think of that are really bad,
Is it from the newest Captain America movie? Because
no, I haven't seen anything with that.
at least from what my dad told me, he's like, yeah, the CG was not great.
I was
Black
gonna
Widow.
Talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh,
When they have MODOK.
the death of cinema.
Oh,
he looks
MODOK.
terrible.
I forgot.
And
I
then-
phased him out of my head.
And there's Thor: Love and Thunder when he's talking to that kid, and it's just like literally just his head floating, and it
yeah.
looks god awful.
I thought you were gonna bring up the stupid screaming goats from like
I forgot about
2000.
that. I had pushed that out of my brain.
God,
I pushed everything from that.
I understand because if you don't know some of the backstory,
Yeah.
Taika only really wanted to do one movie,
Mm-hmm.
but Marvel roped him in to do
Yeah.
two.
Mm.
And as a and to backstab Marvel, he made the movie so unbearable.
Is that true though, or is that?
I feel like
confirmed,
that's
or-
true because Taika's
Yeah.
actually a pretty good director.
He's really good.
Yeah,
Like, it makes no sense why he would do it unless it's to get back on Marvel for.
maybe. I did remember also though he did do like an interview with like he was like breaking down a scene with like Tessa Thompson, and he was like dogging on some of the visual effects. I'm like, hey, it's your fucking movie, man. Maybe give your visual effects artist some more time.
How do we go from the Transformers movies, the Michael Bay ones, which the Transformers look good, to that in a short span of time?
Yeah.
I was also watching a guy or something about little things you didn't know in digital effects. And apparently in the first Transformers movie, one of the soldiers gets straight up decapitated in a PG movie or PG-13
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Like you never see it because it moves so fast. And
Oh, I
it's
saw it.
Digital.
It traumatized me. Yeah, I saw it.
You're so full of shit.
I was
I
there
saw
when I,
Wee Bab in the theater. I was like, oh,
We bad. No, my favorite soldier.
no, soldier number 2.
three. Oh,
It's gone.
his head.
The light from my eyes.
Kim
is
Kardashian's
ruined.
head fell off.
What?
Oh, no, I gotta see this movie.
Is it? It's the Scorpion guy,
Yeah,
right?
Scorpion.
Yeah. He just goes and rips right through everyone.
He just cuts his head right off.
No, that honestly, that that is one of my favorite B plots of a film. It's just how inefficient the U.S. military is at trying to defeat one armored target.
Right? Can you cut the guy being decapitated in, please?
If I can find it, you gotta send it to me, please.
Actually, I'm thinking of one movie that
Okay.
the CG is so bad. I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Yeah.
It's called Delgo.
Delgo. Well, I actually
Oh,
was
God.
reading a book on screenwriting and like how to make money from being a writer, which is something you probably can't do. But they said in the book, like, yeah, just don't be Delgo, and then they included the box office numbers. It is horrific.
Oh yeah.
How much money they spent on
Delgo.
the movie? Like they spent like 40 million, but they made like close to 1 million box office numbers.
Oh
Like,
God.
I probably have those numbers wrong. I don't know, but the
Great,
movie I was
great,
going to talk about is Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh,
that
God.
one is so bad, but like I wouldn't change a thing about it
I
because
love
it's
that.
so
Yeah.
bad that it's funny.
No, it is
My dream journal.
It's a product of its time.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
That's the thing about those Robert Rodriguez films. It's weird because he's like he's a great director sometimes, but
Yeah,
it's like
Spy
not all the
Kids
time.
and stuff.
Sin City. I remember when
He did Sin City?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think he did.
what?
Didn't he also do it with Tarantino? Or am I
He
thinking?
did it with Frank Miller.
Oh, okay, right. And I think that regardless of what you think of Frank Miller, right? I think that Sin City looks great because that is also largely CG. But again, they find a way to incorporate it. They try to make it. They make it black and white, which you can hide anything with black and white.
Yeah, if it's in black and white.
Yeah.
And it's stylized and stuff like that. Again, I think that I will advocate not all CG looks bad. You just have to stylize it in a certain
No,
way.
that's not what we're saying. Is that all CG?
Oh,
is
sure.
bad.
That's just the point that I want to bring up
Yeah.
in this video.
Yeah.
I know when people think like practical
Pushing
versus
his own agendas again.
No, I'm just saying when people think
Wow.
practical versus digital effects, they automatically always say practical's better and digital always sucks. But that's not always the case.
No, that's not always the case.
A point that I want to make is that there are heroes on both sides of
God.
these. You
There
know
are
what I'm
good
saying?
people on both sides.
All right. Where's your tiki torch, Brian?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying though, But yeah, there are a lot of Robert Rodriguez films like the Spy Kids films and
The thumbs.
yeah,
Well,
The
yeah.
thumb people.
thumbs.
Yeah.
I don't know what the excuse for that is besides just to be more cartoony.
I love the thumb people.
Dude, the
Thumb
thumb
thumbs are
people are
great.
the most creative things ever.
But I'm just talking about the effects and how they like
Mhm.
age and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They aged pretty well. It's just
Okay.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl did not age.
And Spy Kids 3D.
And 3D.
Yeah.
I don't include that. It's
Well-
Spy Kids is a 2-film movie.
Well, I think the things with those is that I think the Spy Kids movies, the first two were shot in locations.
Right.
The other one were shot probably entirely, for the most part, on green screen.
Yeah.
Or blue
Because
Yeah.
they're also testing out 3D effects
Yeah.
with Spy Kids 3.
Not to mention, is it Steve Buscemi
Buscemi?
giving a speech about God,
God.
and creation in a
God
kids
stays in heaven
movie?
because he too is afraid of his own creation.
It's like, what the fuck?
I'll
It's a
tell you.
children's movie.
But as a kid, those little like monsters, those things were so enticing. I wanted
The
my
tiny
own.
little ones?
Yeah, the tiny
I
little
wanted
ones.
those.
Those are so cool in my eyes. It's like,
Wasn't it-
please,
Oh,
please,
yeah.
scientists, genetically modify it.
Wasn't it a gorilla on top of a tarantula body?
Yeah, I think.
Imagine fighting one of those.
Yeah.
100 men versus
100 men versus
spider
one of
monkey.
them. You know what? That's the next topic. We need to-
That
like,
reminds me of those. Do you ever watch those, like, you ever see those, like, thumbnails for, like, videos on YouTube? It's like, one conservative versus 15 liberals or something like that. I want one spider gorilla versus 100 men or, like, something like
yeah,
that.
no, I
Yeah.
want like it's screw real animals. Let's bring in the Spy Kids animals and be like,
Let's make genetic mutants. Right?
Yeah, let's make-
One genetic mutant versus 10 liberals.
Oh my god! Why you
wins?
gotta make it blue?
I'm just saying. These are what I see.
oh god.
But yeah, I mean, are there any other, like, instances of, you know, practical and digital effects that we want to bring up?
Fury Road,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Furiosa.
Furiosa.
I still have not seen Furiosa.
I
Yeah, I
haven't.
haven't
Oh,
seen
that one's
parts of
really
it.
good.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Fury Road, the practical nature of that entire film, just essentially being majority practical effects, is insane.
There is digital effects for some of the environments. I
Yeah,
do
so
know
the
that.
environments and then explosions and stuff. Some of the explosions are enhanced, but it's just nuts. Like,
Yeah, it's a bonkers movie.
yeah.
In
Like,
the case of those films, I do get from a studio perspective why they want to go more towards like digital because I hear stories from the production of those and it's like Jesus Christ,
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a
also-
lot
it's
of
like torture.
yes.
Also, Furiosa. I don't think they made their money back.
No, yeah, well,
Yeah, which is kind of
Yeah.
The quality of the film was amazing, but yeah, no one
Yeah.
went to go see it.
they are going to
They-
make another Mad Max movie though.
Yes.
Oh, they should. Yeah.
No, they I will say they did a terrible job of marketing because I had little to no drive to go see it. My parents, in fact, made me go with them, and then I was surprised how
Yeah.
good it was.
Yeah.
Which is like, fix your marketing, but it's
Yeah.
Warner Brothers. They fucking suck.
Yeah.
yeah, Warner Brothers as a company is but again,
Like, not
it's
to
another
mention
topic right
they
there.
lost the Amazing World of Gumball, and they lost Sesame Street. Like, they're going down the drain.
Yeah, they
they're
really are.
fucked.
Yeah.
Well, if they also stop deleting things,
That
like a bunch of
too.
idiots. Like, oh, we spent all this money on Batgirl. We'll delete the whole movie.
We'll delete the whole movie because we want a tax credit for this year.
Yeah.
You know that
The guy
Acme
in charge
movie?
of them is an idiot. but-
Yeah.
You know that Acme movie?
Yeah.
Apparently, I think it was called like Ketchup Entertainment.
Mhm.
They bought it for $50 million, so it is going to come out
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, we're gonna go see it.
That's good.
It
hope
has
that
Will
movie-
Forte in it.
I hope
I'm
that
a
movie
fan of
isn't
his.
mid after all this hype and build up.
I hope it breaks a record.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna see it just because it's like, yeah, fuck yeah, we got this movie off
Yeah.
the ground. But like,
I hope.
what if it sucks?
I hope it's the next Chicken Jockey.
No, I
Oh God.
don't like you anymore.
Coyote power.
Coyote power. He just comes out and he's like, I am Wiley.
So how long have we been going?
Long enough.
Okay, great.
Well, I had one more.
Okay, go
Uh,
say it.
I'm trying to remember it now.
Oh, no, you
We
can't
got-
remember it.
We got onto something else.
Oh, I can't remember it.
There have been TV shows that have been good, like because we were talking about Robert Rodriguez, and I was thinking about Dust Till Dawn, because they do CGI transitions, and I think the CGI transitions in that look really good, and they do the same thing like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where a person's face transitions from being like normal to being vampiric, and I think that is another way, a good way of using CGI to kind of, skip and make it so that it seems seamless, but in actuality the person's been in a makeup chair for hours and
Right.
that kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of episode 2 of Star Wars. where that bounty hunter's face is sort of
yeah.
withers
Oh, the
away.
shapeshifter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought she was just an ugly raisin person. But
was one of the California
technically she's a
raisins.
shapeshifter.
Yeah, it looks like that the chocolate episode from SpongeBob, where the little things in a wheelchair.
Brian,
What are they selling?
Brian, put that
Chocolate.
overlay in.
I gotta get this video out by Monday. Okay.
Oh, that's
we
right. I
have
forgot.
nothing on our backlog of videos anymore.
Listen, she's
Hey,
got-
guess what? We are live now. All right,
Wow.
we are in.
God.
The podcasts are pretty much a week apart now.
Yeah.
so we're
glass
not
bones and paper
delayed.
skin.
Oh yeah, that guy too.
No, I like that. But one thing I will say about another thing about Star Wars in Revenge of the Sith, when he's getting turned into a ball sack.
Where's this? What movie did I watch? What?
the digital effects of that doesn't look super good anymore.
Oh yeah, and again we're talking about faces. Count Dooku.
When his head gets cut off.
No, when he's fighting Anakin, they used his stunt double because
Oh yeah.
Christopher Lee had to use a cane. He couldn't do all that shit. Also, Ian McDermott with his CG face,
Yeah.
they had to do because
Please don't.
at least it's better in. I mean, it's better when he's wearing the hood against the Yoda fight
Well, yeah.
because you can't see his face.
I'm
can't
sure
see the
that's
sack.
why he had
Yeah,
to
you
do
can't.
it.
Well, I did want to say because we were saying earlier that they are bringing back practical effects
Yeah.
in some regard. I mean, do you feel like are you guys feeling hopeful for the future of like a good compromise between these two levels of filmmaking?
No.
Oh, really?
Not for Marvel. Marvel.
No, I
Marvel will never do that.
I don't
Yeah.
mean necessarily for the big tentpole movies.
Do you mean like in general for the film industry?
Just like block. Yeah, I guess so.
I hope so.
Maybe.
I want it to give more modelers and practical effects artists jobs. Like
Oh, sure.
I'm a huge I know me and DeGeneres are big fans of that kind of stuff, and Adam Savage. We met him at Comic-Con,
Yeah.
and like watching them make the things that they make is just so incredibly interesting.
Oh, sure.
The things they have to go to, like how they get to certain ways and things you never would think about, is just so good. And digital effects artists also have to go through the same kind of thing, but in a different way, in a different world. And both have their merits, both have their failings, but I think a good use of both is what makes the big difference, is what makes it work easier than either or. And it can also probably split costs in a certain way, because while you have your digital effects artist working on something else, you can have the practical effects ready to go, and then give the artist more time to finish their digital stuff.
Yeah.
Just stop with crunch time.
No, that's really the big crux of the issue is that, I'm okay waiting as long as it takes for certain movies to come out. Just take your time with them.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's the real crime.
Just
But will the
low-
studio executives listen?
No, they won't because they got to get it out as soon as possible. You know what I mean?
They need money.
That's really the main issue. It's not necessarily if like one effect is better than the other. I mean, I guess that's also a case by case basis, but yeah. But hey, that's also why I like indie films because they also rely on practical effects and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So keep an eye out in the future when we do a live action practical film.
We'll do
We're actually going to
Potentially.
CG a fifth idiot
a fifth
right
idiot.
here.
It's Godzilla. Do
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I got shit to do this week.
We put Godzilla in there, and every time he talks, it's just the Godzilla roar.
Yeah,
They're like, that's a good point, Godzilla. Thank you.
that's
Yeah.
cool. You should definitely edit that, Sean.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually giving Godzilla a fist bump right now. Right.
Wow,
Oh,
that's
oh,
so-
oh,
whoa,
oh,
whoa.
you're so strong, Godzilla. Oh my god.
You're inappropriately touching him. What the hell,
Oh,
man?
stop. Stop using- oh my
Quick,
god.
Sean,
Stop.
wrap us up before
All right.
before it gets
Well,
X-rated.
thank you for joining us for another episode of the
Give me
Major
a
Idiots
god
Podcast. You can find us on social
cutting
media,
back.
Major
No.
Idiots Crew. Be sure to like, subscribe, and favorite. Really helps our channel to grow. And thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Love you.
Goodbye.